Hey folks, welcome to another edition of Fitness Friday Posi-TIPS with Rachelle. Folks, it's always great to be back with you each and every Friday. And I know last time I highlighted some examples of technology and innovation, specifically as it related to fitness trends. Folks, things are always changing in the fitness industry. It's actually hard to keep up, but with technology and innovation being such fundamental drivers in our economy and business today, it's just something that cannot be overlooked. And so I wanted to spend some time highlighting that last time. Of course, you know, from time to time I will drop in an episode on fitness trends because so much is always changing, and I just want to take some time, you know, every few weeks or so, and just to update you and just share some of what I've read, what I've been studying and become aware of as it relates to fitness trends. But folks, wanted to kick off this episode here. This is actually, I'm actually going to be doing marketing next time, but this is actually going to be a certainly far more brief episode here. I want to make an announcement, and that is in the fall. I promise you this is not my last episode. Fitness Friday Posi-TIPS is not going away. In the fall, I'm actually going to be integrating a little more content as it relates to community and public health and fitness. It's certainly something I'm very passionate about on a personal level, public health, community health, all of that. So I'm actually going to be, you know, if you watch me long enough since the beginning of these Posi-TIPS episodes, I've slowly integrated different areas of health, wellness, fitness over the years. And so I'm so excited to be covering some of those areas. I'm starting in the fall. And so what I mean by that, I'm going to be having specific episodes dealing with specific disease states and health issues. And so that's going to be integrated starting in the fall. So stay tuned for that. And some of you may have seen last week, actually had the opportunity to attend the inaugural symposium for precision health at the University of Michigan. I highlighted it, you know, last time, the impact study that I'm a part of actually now. On day 31 of the study actually shifted from phase 1 to phase 2, and that's actually a 3-year longitudinal study. So I'll give you updates from time to time on that, but had an opportunity to attend the first annual symposium, as I mentioned, at the University of Michigan on May 29th, and that was so cool. It was so cool, just you know, hearing presentations and reading scientific posters and all of that, hearing some great speakers just talking about, yes, you know, they've certainly made a lot of improvements and advancements and enhancements in the field of medicine, but it is something that is going to continue. And you got a lot of folks in institutions across the country, academic institutions, hospitals, health centers, that are just absolutely all over trying to find treatments, cures, you know, prolong life, prolong quality of life, you know, make a dent in some of our health challenges and just healthcare overall. It certainly was full of inspiration, and I'm certainly glad I had an opportunity to go to that. You may have seen the pictures I posted on my Facebook page. I actually had an opportunity to take a picture with Dr. Sanchin Ketterpal, who's a co-director of Precision Health at the University of Michigan, and he oversees the MyPack study that I'm a part of and that I highlighted in the last episode. So that was cool. Posted those pictures on Facebook. And actually, you know, when you go to conferences, symposium, all of those type of things, you always typically get giveaways, but I just had to highlight these, especially as I'm going to be kicking off my marketing series next week. I think this is the first time I've ever received socks, you know, just so they're Precision Health branded socks for the University of Michigan, but that was so cool, and I look forward to, you know, more opportunities to partake in different events such as that. But folks, as I mentioned, you know, I want to spend a little time on this episode on community health and just really pointing out different resources that may be available in your communities. Obviously, I'm going to be highlighting some Metro Detroit examples, but it doesn't matter where you live, big city, even a smaller city. I just want to challenge you, as I've spent a lot of time over the years on these episodes highlighting more formal and more traditional type of fitness facilities and all of that, but there's certainly a wide range of activities that you can pursue to remain healthy and fit and all of that to really take care of your health. And so I want to point some of those out, and actually had an opportunity, and this was on May 28th, had an opportunity to attend. It was the Farmington, and I posted a picture of that on my Facebook page, Farmington and Farmington Hills Coalition. It's really the formal name of the group is the Healthy Farmington Hills Coalition. And so they had their kickoff meeting, and it was actually sponsored by Beaumont Beaumont Hospital, which is one of our, actually Beaumont Health System, one of our major systems here in Metro Detroit, and it was in Farmington Hills is where the meeting was located. And the former hospital used to be Botsford, and that was one of my former accounts. And later on, I covered Beaumont. I'm in my biotech careers with both of those health systems. But so I'm going to be saving this Beaumont pen for my home office. It's just always great to kind of come full circle. But I was actually attending this event, and this message kind of explains, kind of what some of the fundamental points were of this coalition and what they're trying to achieve, yada, yada, yada. And so it's Beaumont Healthy Communities needs your input on how we can build a coalition to improve the health and wellness of our community. Join us. And so about the event, Beaumont Healthy Farmington Hills invite you to be a part of an important meeting with select community leaders to learn more about an exciting new initiative. While we know that Farmington Hills are a great place to live, work, and raise a family, we also aspire to improve the health and well-being of our families, neighbors, and community to become recognized as cities in which every resident has the opportunity to live a long, healthy, and active life. During this meeting, we will share the recent Community Health Needs Assessment, priority health needs that will be addressed over the next several years. While local and county health outcomes have continuously ranked high among Michigan's 83 counties, there's always room for improvement. We know our health is linked to education, employment, economic opportunity, housing, the environment, and more. These interrelated solutions require interrelated solutions. These interrelated issues require interrelated solutions. Beaumont Healthy Farmington Hills Coalition will work with all systems that impact community health, healthcare, schools, human services, business, economic development, transportation, and land use. But most importantly, we need the input and involvement of those who live, work, and play in the greater Farmington communities. And so this was, like as I mentioned, a coalition that is recently formed to really tackle some health issues and challenges, and it's of course spearheaded by a health system, which is always very, very important and just nice to have, because they're going to have access to a lot of resources that maybe smaller nonprofits and just smaller community organizations wouldn't have access to. And so it was a great event, and the reason I wanted to point this out, and now they're going to be having, this coalition is going to be having monthly meetings, and while I'm really was really excited to attend the kickoff meeting, just in the interest of time, it's highly unlikely that I'm going to move forward as part of this coalition, attending these monthly meetings. Perhaps if they have an option of soliciting feedback via email, that may be a more formidable option for me. But also Farmington is the community is not, I live in Novi, that's the my base, and Farmington Hills are actually the adjacent communities or suburbs to me. And so wanted to point out, as I mentioned, there's always other options in terms of maintaining a healthy lifestyle and all of that. And so Beaumont is an example. Just again, we've got different hospitals and health systems and health organizations across the country. And so I just want to challenge you in this episode to really find out in your local community, in your local area, who are these folks. I mean, there's a couple of different ways, for the regular resident or citizen, there's activities that you can participate in terms of taking care of your health. But also, I'm thinking, as I'm about to kick off a marketing series next week, from a marketing perspective, it's very important, and I think these organizations are always looking for partners, and that will certainly create enhanced visibility for your gym, your fitness facility, or facilities, so it can be a win-win situation. And you can get some visibility in terms of potentially your training staff, giving presentations and all of that to the community and at these community organizations and activities. So, but anyway. And so this is an example. So let's walk Farmington Hills together. And so here we have this is a flyer that just talks about how walking is good medicine, how we can help, next step. And so please sign in between 9 and 3 p.m. at the Caustic Activity Center. This is actually where the kickoff event was held. And so they've got walking clubs. And so it was cool to see that, and there's folks that are really excited and love to walk in the outdoors, and particularly in a state like Michigan, or if you're up in northern climates which are very cold in the winter, where outside walking is certainly not as much of an option for folks who live up north. And so this is an example here, another flyer, Wellness Walk and Talk in Farmington Hills. And so with this one, join us Thursday, June 13th. So at 11:30 a.m., they've got a free blood pressure screening, followed by noon to 1 p.m., nutrition for health and prevention. So they've got a registered dietitian by the name of Denise Kampf. And so what they're going to do with this particular exercise, they're going to meet at Nature Center at Heritage Park, and they've got the location, and they've got a little map here. And so they're actually going to have, while people are walking, this dietitian is going to be sharing some dietary tips, healthy eating tips, and all of that. So very, very creative approach. Instead of having it in a traditional, perhaps classroom type of format with her up front speaking. So she's meeting people where they are, what they want to be doing, particularly on a nice, hopefully sunny day on June 13th. Got another one Thursday, July 18th, free blood pressure screening. This talk is noon to 1 again. Acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine, a holistic approach to wellness. Stephanie Macy, RN, and a licensed acupuncturist is going to be speaking at this particular one. And so they go on and on and on. So Thursday, August 22nd, again, kicking it off with the blood pressure screening, and then living to the fullest with osteoarthritis. Dr. John Morasso is also going to be walking and sharing tips and all of that with folks. And so that's just an example of just a way to really get some exercise in, and a very creative approach to it. You can learn and get more health tips and health information from providers. And so we've got here, Beaumont's got a house called Podcast. And so they're going to have physicians and medical staff and all of that doing podcasts around certain topical areas. So this is just an example. I mean, in the benefit, you think about a podcast, the benefit of that is you don't even have to leave your house if you don't want to. Okay, you can walk on your own treadmill, or you can be cleaning the house, listening to a podcast, getting some health information as you're doing that. So this is an example of just activities that you can partake in. Or you don't have to join a gym. You don't have to join a studio. You don't have to have a membership for one reason or another. Those type of formal environments, formal fitness environments don't work for everyone. And so I challenge you to find what works for you and really go down that path. And you won't regret it. You won't regret it. Beaumont also has 6 weeks of activities here in terms of diabetes education, diabetes prevention, but these exist all over the country. It's just a matter of determining and finding out what resources you have at your fingertips and really moving forward in that direction. So really pursue those, and you won't regret it, I assure you. Had an opportunity also, this was May 21st, and MPro was actually held this event at Schoolcraft College in Livonia. And so it was an all-day seminar. It was absolutely fantastic, and it was talking about cardiac care, improvements in cardiac care for the whole care team, and just cardiology. And even think about my years in medical sales, in my last 5 years in medical sales, and I was in the biotech sector, biotechnology, and I had a cardiology product. And so very, very, just even in the gym, very passionate about cardio, but just cardiology, the field of cardiology, the subspecialization of cardiology in the field of medicine is something I'm very deeply passionate about. So I had an awesome opportunity to hear some of the latest things that are going on in the cardiology sector. But this particular organization and many organizations across the country actually partner with the American Heart Association. And so even at that event, learned about a lot of activities that the AHA holds in different communities across the U.S. And so they've got tips and all of that even on their website. And so that's a resource. When you think about heart health and cardiovascular health and how challenges and problems with your cardiovascular system can just lead to other health problems and just a rough life in general if you've got a lot of severe cardiology problems. But American Heart Association, just great resources they have at your fingertips in terms of learning and improving your heart health and all of that. So yet another great resource that you can certainly partake in. Also actually had the awesome opportunity on my fitness anniversary. You saw I posted my workout video from the Planet Fitness in West Bloomfield, Michigan. But I also spent later that morning, spent that day or part of that day attending a Henry Ford Health System, also in West Bloomfield. Wonderful, wonderful cooking class. And they have a Living Well series that they have. And so they actually have a brochure with Living Well events, all different types of events. But that particular cooking class, was cool where they had it. I mean, that particular facility is known, that particular Henry Ford Health System in West Bloomfield is known for they have great food. I guess apparently if you're a patient, the people rave about the food at that location. But they also have a Henry's Cafe with all different types of foods that's highly rated as well. But in that particular cooking class, and it was like $10. And so, the chef, one of the chefs of the hospital, and was literally, if you've ever been in the situation where you've seen kind of live cooking classes, that's exactly what it was. They had big screens across, cameras on the food and all of that, so step by step. But more importantly, dietitians were there. Licensed dietitians for the hospital were there providing tips in terms of reducing sodium and the importance of fresh foods and all of that. So they were speaking and just chiming in with tips along the way. And at that particular event, they provided us, this is a printout from WebMD, portion size guide. All right, and so this actually appears that I got 2 of those. But portion control is something that is so important in terms of maintaining your health and healthy weight, healthy BMI or body mass index. And so they provided recipes for the dishes and that they prepared that particular morning, but also provided us with a magazine that comes out that they produce that just talks about just healthy eating, and they've got recipes and all of that inside. And so just another option. I mean, we think about health, fitness, and wellness. I mean, it's very holistic, because if somebody has a mediocre diet, it's going to come back to get you eventually. It's going to come back to get you. I don't care how much you're working out and all of that. You really got to take this eating aspect of your dietary, I should say, better say, the dietary aspect of your health journey seriously, because it's something that can eventually come back to get you. And we just want to make sure that, yes, we're working out, we're exercising, we're really taking good care in that part of fitness, but we also want to combine that with good, healthy eating. And as I mentioned years ago, I've seen one of our local dietitians at another health system, St. John Health, at the time in Southfield, which is now Ascension St. John Health in Southfield, Beverly Cameron. I met with her twice, didn't need to lose weight or anything like that, but I wanted to improve my diet. So folks, these are things that you can really partake in. There's a boatload of activities happening all over the country by all types of hospitals and health systems, and physicians' offices themselves give talks now and things like that. And so there's so many different online resources as well that you can use to really aid you on your fitness journey. And so I challenge you to really take advantage of everything at your fingertips, because truly it's a life and death decision. It can be a life and death decision, particularly when you're talking about just some of the negative consequences and ramifications of not taking your diet seriously, trying to live and sustain. You're moving on day by day on junk food and just heavily processed foods. And so change is possible. I'm certainly a living testament to that. I used to eat a lot of fast foods on the go and in between sales appointments and all of that. And so I knew even then I needed to make a change. As much as I've been passionate about fitness and working out and all of that for the last 25 years, I knew I needed to improve in that dietary piece. So I just challenge you to really do the same. Your dietary piece may be solid and strong. You may need some help on the actual working out piece. And so there's always areas in which we can improve, and I certainly challenge you to do so. But folks, wanted to wrap up this episode by highlighting actually, a couple of funny things, and the first of which is I sent an email actually to the Planet Fitness, my Planet Fitness location in Commerce, Michigan. I call it the PF Commerce Country Club. So I sent Cody an email. It was May 30th. Because that morning, and literally just after I saw it, because I sent myself an email like send Planet Fitness Commerce an email just to remind myself to do it later that morning after I got home. But folks, so I was in there that morning, and so on Monday, Memorial Day, I was actually at the West Bloomfield location later in the day for a later event in West Bloomfield. And then the following 2 days, so the 28th and then the 29th, I actually went to the Planet Fitness location in Livonia on 5 Mile, because I had appointments for research study appointments, and then that symposium on the 29th at the University of Michigan. So went to that location, and it's very, very close to M14, and so got to Ann Arbor in literally 20 minutes on that morning. So I had been on 3 p.m. adventures away from my gym, and so I popped into my own gym on that Thursday morning on the 30th, and so here I am, starting out with cardio, whatever, and I tend to zone out, be whatever, really, really focused. And so at that particular morning, I was actually doing sprint intervals, so pretty intense, pretty focused. And I know in between my rest periods, I actually, glanced over. So I typically always from a cardio standpoint on the left side of the gym. All right, and so we have 2 sections of cardio, and so I'm on the left side of the gym, and so during one of my rest periods, I glanced over, and then I remember seeing over in the recumbent bike recumbent bikes area, I remember seeing somebody cleaning a bike, wiping off a bike like it was a Harley Davidson. And I remember thinking like, man, that person sure is, cleaning that machine. She sure is cleaning that machine pretty hard, huh? And so it did caught my attention. and then I noticed after my next, sprint interval and my next rest period, like just a few machines down, just intensely, just cleaning her heart out on that machine. And I said, oh, that's a staff member. And so I didn't recognize her. I said, oh, she must be new. And so then there was another employee who was over there just vacuuming, just vacuuming her heart out, folks. And so it made me smile. And it certainly, I can't, I'm in a situation where I have to really walk a fine line with my own gym because I can't be, biased and doing reviews all the time and all of that. And so I wanted to share that feedback and just how that made me smile, just seeing those two. And they clearly were new. I didn't recognize them, and I had been away from my gym, so I said, well, maybe they started earlier in the week and I wasn't here. But folks, they were cleaning their heart out. I mean, it was just, they were killing it from a cleaning perspective. They were killing it, and this is certainly a little bit of management development coaching. Is why I sent the feedback. Just leadership development coaching, from my perspective, is when. And then I challenge you to do the same. Particularly if you're a customer, if you're a member, whatever, and you see people that are really working hard. I'm really big on just feedback in general, but particularly when people are new, in a role, in a position, it is very important to provide them with feedback, particularly positive feedback. You know what, you're on the right track, you're really doing well. And that's why I wanted to share, Cody does a great job, as a manager of our gym, and he's highly receptive to feedback, very, very responsive to feedback. I really appreciate that about him. Does a great job, highly responsive to feedback. So I know he would appreciate, the feedback, and certainly it was, he was, and he, called to thank me for the feedback. But folks, these young ladies were cleaning their hearts out. And so it doesn't matter if what the role of the person is. If you see somebody doing a good job, if you see that, their hearts were in it. It's, me, I'm a very good judge of motivation. Intrinsic, meaning coming from within, or extrinsic, from coming from without or from the outside. And I could just see those ladies just really working hard, wanting to do a good job, wanted to really make some things happen in the overnight shift. So this is probably about 4:20, 4:30 in the morning. And they were really killing it on that gym floor. So I just had to let Cody know. And again, I didn't want to wait for, my next survey to highlight that. I wanted to give that feedback right away. So I sent that feedback to the club. But it was so, literally when I saw that, because I'm thinking like, why is she cleaning that machines? Just killing it, doing a great job. And certainly that certainly made me smile, and I know they needed to be, and I just strongly felt that they needed to be recognized for that. Really working hard to make Cody look good, and certainly just to be positive representations, not only in that franchise group, but also just overall on the franchise. One of their brand standards is cleanliness, and just to see those two really working hard to maintain that brand standard for that particular facility was something that was worthy of recognition. So another thing that happened, this was Saturday, so Saturday, June 1st. I actually had to go to, it was a religious conference on the other side of town, in Roseville. So that Saturday morning, and so, Friday morning, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, so you're going to go to the Royal Oak location, which is on the way to Roseville. And so, to be quite honest, I've been trying to go to the Royal Oak location for a while now. But and this is just the realities of the suburb itself. Parking is a challenge in Royal Oak. They're building some new parking garages and things like that, trying to improve the situation, but parking is a challenge. Historically, there have been some Northwestern alumni events that are there, and so when I would go to those, sometimes I wouldn't even go, but when I would go, would have to get there an hour and a half early to try to find parking, because, it's just whatever. So this is just one of the challenges of the suburb overall. And so the Planet Fitness, and that it's actually a newer location. I believe it was 2017 when that one came on board. And so the reviews on that location for parking are really, that's just talk about something that's just, and I know for me, the thought of circling around and waiting for people to leave and all of that just is I've never had to deal with that challenge at a facility before, and I know that wouldn't be a good situation for me. The potential of, will there be a parking place and all of that. So I just knew. And that's been my challenge with going and attempting to go when I've needed to go to Royal Oak. but I knew that I needed to be in Royal Oak later that morning, so really I would want to get there about 8 o'clock. And then that parking, I didn't know about the parking situation, how that would be. And I mean, obviously later in the day, when people are getting off work, it was going to be busy, but I didn't know how it was going to work in the morning. But anyway, so that just kind of dissuaded me from choosing that location to be quite transparent in the past. And so I was thinking, am I going to, it's a Saturday morning, there should be less people, whatever, yada, yada. But anyway, long story short, I didn't even realize, there's a location in Oak Park that is very close. And it's literally right off the interstate, a perfect location for me on my way to Roseville that morning. So actually went to that location. I read the reviews, and actually, people comment that, the parking situation in that gym, they compare it, as we're going to talk about next time in next week's episodes on the value of competition, to Royal Oak. And anyway, so a lot of happy people at that location, and I just had to share this review that really, it made me smile, and it kind of, cracked me up, where when I read it, I'm sitting there thinking like, wow, it made a very positive impression on me from the standpoint of, man, I got to go to this Planet Fitness location. This is just, this review is really, speaking volumes about, how people feel about this location. And unfortunately, it's spinning out on me, so I need to open up another, so here we go. So I want to read this location. I want to read this review to you, read this review to you, so you can see just why it had such a positive impression on me. And I was thinking like, man, I've been in a lot of Planet Fitness locations, even in different states and all of that, but this one just really just kind of caught my attention. And so this review was written, this is a Google Plus review, so it was written 3 months ago. And it's by Yogi, Y-O-G-I, Fordansky. And so 5-star review. And so Yogi says, just being in the parking lot of Planet, or just PF, it makes you want to run from the car to the treadmill. It naturally motivates you. When you have a motto of judgment-free zone already, makes you feel comfortable and you could just be you without feeling ashamed. The staff is very sweet and makes you feel like $1,000,000. They always have a smile on their face. One of the ladies who works there should be on a Crest commercial. That's how bright her smile is. Every day I say to myself, I've got to go to PF. You feel rejuvenated and a whole new person after every workout. If PF stands for Planet Fitness, but it also stands for Perfect Family. And so when I read that, I said, now isn't this something? That is a great review. And just as a quick digression and aside here, when you have folks, and that's what I'm telling you, just make sure you're constantly reviewing your online reviews. And so in this particular case, this person is selling memberships for them. I assure you, this person is selling memberships. Because when you read this, just being in a parking lot makes you want to run from the car to the treadmill, and just talking about how wonderful the staff makes you feel like $1,000,000. Because even as many gyms as I've been in over the last 25 years, I read that and I thought to myself, man, I got to go to this Planet Fitness location myself. I got to check this place out. But so think about that, particularly as we're shifting gears next week into a marketing series, to really think about. And this person, in my opinion, this person needs to be contacted and just really thanked profusely for this review, because I assure you, from a marketing perspective, this one is selling some memberships. Yeah, you got a lot of positive reviews talking about the place, how clean the place is and all of that, the staff. But this one just oozes enthusiasm and just happiness and member satisfaction and member engagement. And so this one just really got my attention. And guess what? When I read that review, the decision was made. I got to go I'm going to this location, and I'm so glad I did. Because I'm thinking to myself, well, whenever I need to go to the far eastern suburbs, then that's when this is exactly the location, because it's right there, right off the interstate. So a wonderful choice. But I just had to share that with you. But so folks, next week it is. And I think this one serves as a great lead-in for next week's study, or actually episode, where I'm really going to be kicking off this series on marketing, but also highlighting next time the value of competition. All right, we've got, yes, you're competing with various types of fitness facilities and entities, but if you're a franchisee, you're competing obviously with other locations within the same franchise that are not your own, or even are your own. It's quite interesting series of lessons I've been exposed to here as a member of Planet Fitness. And so I look forward to sharing those lessons with you and just talking about the fitness industry and just things that you can do to be and remain competitive, because that is so important. So important. You don't want to be left behind, particularly even with the integrating technology into your facilities, because those facilities that are out front, that are leading, that are killing it in terms of membership, are those that are truly going with the flow in terms of technology and adopting the integration and the innovation of technology within their location. So folks, that's it for today. I told you I was going to keep it shorter than normal, and so I cannot wait till next time. So until then, stay tuned, and remember, I am positively passionate about your health and fitness. Make it a great day.